Hi everyone, Jonathan here. Today, we're going to start finding your balance using a handstand back to the wall. The handstand back to the wall is a great exercise, but many people do it wrong, so I'm going to show you how to do it well. First, you have to kick up or tuck up. Place your hands on the floor about a forearm's length away from the wall and about shoulder width. If you kick up, you need to understand that the momentum to get up comes not from throwing the back leg over and towards the wall, but from pushing from the front leg. If you tuck up, you want to focus on lifting your hips and extending your shoulders first, then only extending your legs afterwards. I believe that kicking up will probably feel more comfortable for most beginners. An essential point to consider while going up in a handstand back against the wall is shoulder positioning. If your shoulders are too far towards the heel of your hands, you're not going to be able to get up. If you have your shoulders too far over your fingers and aren't resisting the lean or aren't strong enough to resist, you're going to bump your head into the wall and die. Maybe. The ideal shoulder position as you get up is just a little bit forward, and as your hips lift, you extend tall through your shoulders. A lot of beginners try too hard to get their weight over and ram it into the wall, sometimes causing their shoulders to buckle. Try to make contact with the wall as softly as possible. At the end of this video, I will include extra bits of information for those who are uncomfortable with this part. Okay, I'm there. What do I do now? Now that you're in a handstand back to the wall, with both feet touching the wall, I want you to brace your body and find a straightish position. Push tall, extend through your shoulders, keep your ribs in, squeeze your butt and quads and point your toes. Do not let your shoulders collapse or your ribs flare out. From there, I want you to very slightly bend one knee, like I did during my first kiss. Your body should stay straight and tight, your shoulders tall and open. Do not let your ribs drop. As you bend your knee, your body will become more vertical and you get closer to your point of balance. But you don't quite want to reach your point of balance. You want to stop just short of it so that if you straighten your knee again, you fall back towards the wall. As you bend the knee, you will feel that the weight of your foot against the wall diminishes. Once there's almost no weight left, it's time to gradually and slowly push your fingers into the ground and use your hands to pick your weight off the wall. If you push too much with your fingers, you'll fall back to your feet. So try to only push enough to hover slightly, and if you start pushing too much, release the pressure and fall back to the wall. For that reason, you must always keep some weight over your fingers, and when doing handstand back to the wall, always lean towards the wall very slightly. You want to spend time on your hands and practice balancing, so if you fall, it is better to fall back to the wall rather than to your feet. Here are some common mistakes. Letting your shoulders close when your body gets further from the wall. A good cue is to keep your back close to the wall and only slightly move your lower body. You do not need to move a lot to get away from the wall, as you aren't very far from it. Bending your assisting knee too much. You don't need to bend it a lot if you keep your knees together, and bringing your knee close to your stomach instead of keeping your hip extended can easily make your form go wrong. Only use a slight bend. Trying to jump to balance. Doing that is the equivalent of spray and pray, and you're not very active in the act of balancing because the movement is too fast for you to even feel your balance. Move slowly, feel your weight shifting, and use your hands. Don't rush it, even when you get tired. Not looking at the floor. This one is a cue for hand balancing in general. Unless the purpose of your exercise is to look elsewhere or to close your eyes, you should be able to see the floor and your hands. This makes balance easier, and if using props or doing challenges later on, it is important to see where and how you put your hands. Keeping the head neutral and looking between the arms isn't a technical mistake per se, but it is impractical and makes balancing more difficult. In terms of training, you should start with a couple sets of 30 seconds every training. Progressively build up to sets of 1 to 2 minutes. And when this gets easy, start counting only when you're holding the balance. I call that cumulative sets. Now, for those who have a hard time getting up in the first place, make sure to watch my previous videos, especially the very first one. I want to show you 2 easy progressions to help you kicking back against the wall. The first one is a shoulder supported kick up. Place your hands about 1 hand's width away from the wall, with your fingers placed slightly outwards. Lean your shoulders into the wall, then kick up. As long as you keep pushing tall and don't bend your arms, you will either go up against the wall or fall back to your feet. This is actually slightly tricky, because you have to let your back roll up the wall, then your hips, then your feet last, if your butt isn't too big. If your feet touch the wall first, you will fall back to your feet again. So this is good to force you to stack your body as you go up. Once you're up, you can push your shoulders away from the wall. Our second drill is a tuck up facing away from the wall. Squat down with the wall behind you. Put your hands down, do a small jump, and place your feet on the wall. The important thing here is to lift your hips up and have most of your weight on your hands. If your hips stay down, most of your weight will be on your feet, and you won't go very high. Practice going up and down the wall a bunch of times, trying to get higher and higher. Ideally, you want to be able to extend your body completely before touching the wall. Make sure not to let your shoulders shoot too far forward or you're going to fall on your face. Once you're able to extend your body fully before touching the wall, you should be able to tuck up back to the wall too.
This concludes today's video. I hope you learned something useful. Stay home, stay safe, keep busy, and see you next time.